There she is. Welcome, everyone, to our Monday night recap of the ILCA 5-day challenge. My name is your Queen Connectress, Miss Marnita Casa, and I will be your humble hostess for today. Now, there is something that I always like to say, and that is we totally understand there are so many different things you can be doing with your time. My goodness, the nighttime is the right time for family and for preparation of the next day. So the fact that you guys decided to come on out and hear what we have to say, it makes us so very happy. So again, thank each and every one of you for being here. And what a wonderful, wonderful time this is, and what a wonderful place this is to be. Now, I've been watching the news, and there's some things going on. Like, for example, I just found out that nursing is no longer a profession. But even beyond that, what that means is that women and men who are going after their nursing degrees now cannot get student aid if they are going for higher degrees. We are being stripped of resources and tools that, as far as I was concerned, we would never be stripped of, that would always be available to us. But nowadays, we're finding they're not available. We're finding that the jobs that we have do not pay enough money for us not to have to live paycheck to paycheck. But with ILCA, the Ivy League Coaching Academy, there is another way. There is an absolute light at the end of the tunnel. And what do I mean by that? I mean that here with the Ivy League Coaching Academy, not only are you going to learn personal development to help you get that mind right, help you get away from that worker bee mentality and start looking at bigger things like entrepreneurship. But we're going to give you the education to learn how to do it. We're also going to give you the tools. We're going to give you the resources. We're going to give you motivation. And bigger than that, we're going to give you community, a community of like-minded individuals on the same path to where? Financial freedom. So welcome to all of you. Hello, my friends on Facebook. Thank you guys so very much for being here. And thank my VIPs. Hello, babies, for always showing up and showing out. It is always good to see you guys and to feel that positive energy coming off of you. And tonight is going to be just as explosive as last week because we have the king himself. I am talking about Mr. Kenny Taylor is going to be sharing with us his thoughts, his journey, and his story. So you guys, please get ready. And of course, how can I forget? Hey, baby, how can I forget? The educator has a special announcement. Woo! And I don't know about you, but I am excited about it. ILCA has some wonderful, wonderful things going on, and you guys are about to hear about it tonight. So let's go ahead and get this rolling. Now, those are my VIPs. You guys know the routine. Type your name and where you're from in that chat box. That way I get a chance to tell everybody who is our VIPs, who is the cool kids on the VIP side. And if you have the opportunity, turn on your camera. Why? Because one of the best parts about us meeting on a Zoom call like this is that we get a chance to see all your faces and see all those wonderful smiles. So let me go ahead and start saying hello. Now, first up is Mr. Kenny Taylor, the man of the hour. Hello, sir. He is representing Los Angeles, California. You guys get ready to hear a wonderful story coming from him. Next up is Miss Samantha. Hi, baby. How are you? Miss Samantha is our certified student, and she is bringing some valuable information to the community. So you guys keep an eye out for her. I see we also have Miss Carla Rigo. Hello, baby. How are you? Miss Carla Rigo is representing St. Louis, Missouri, and she's representing the Ivy League Coaching Academy. How? She's a partner. She's one of our partners, so you can actually get the courses, yes, ma'am, for a very discounted rate and become a member through Carla at bebest.com. And you can also find her on Alignable. Miss Carla, thank you for everything you got going on for us. We appreciate you. I see we also have the lovely Miss Patty Geist. Hello, Queen. How are you? She is representing San Diego, California, and she is soon to be a certified student. Hint, hint. I'm just saying. Miss Patty, guys, thank you so very much for being here. It is always good to see you, baby. Of course, Mr. Leonard Long is in the house. Mr. Papa Leonard, another ILCA partner. Hello, Leonard. How are you? It's always good to see you. Now, you can also get the courses from Mr. Leonard Long as well. And you can get him his courses at pilca.education. That's pilca.education. Leonard, there you are. Hey, sweetheart. Thank you so much for being here. He is living the life out there. That's what I'm talking about, lounging outside on a nice evening. Good for you, Leonard. I see we also have Gina Muhammad's in the house. Hello, Gina. How are you? She is representing Philadelphia. Janelle Appling is here representing Colorado. Love you, Ma. I see we also have Nathan Hansberger is in the house. He's representing Las Vegas, Nevada. Miss Sandy Lynn is here. Hi, Queen. How are you? Miss Sandy Lynn is definitely a prominent member of our community. She actually helped us to put on the Chicago Impact Summit event, which was a wonderful success. Miss Sandy Lynn, thank you so much for being here, for everything you do. I see CJ Jackson is in the house, represent Arizona. Boom, 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 boom. CJ Jackson and Leonard Long spoke for us this past week. They both had very, very wonderful and powerful testimonial. CJ, thank you for everything that you got going on and everything that you will have going on in 2026. We truly appreciate you. Miss Rita B is coming on in from San Diego, California, the first female certified student. Hello, Queen. Thank you so much for being here with us. My partner in crime, her name is Joyce Easley. Hi, baby. She is always here and giving such positive energy. Joyce, it is always good to see you, Mama. Thank you so much for being here. We have Deborah Covington. We have Clairvaux Albert, Michael Aluko, Tammy Lee Goley. You guys go into the Telegram. Tammy just put a phenomenal statement in there. You guys might want to go take a look at that, Tammy. We love you much. Miss Judy E is coming on in from Canada. We have many. We have Doreen Buckner. Hello. We have Miss Rhoda. Okay, baby, the family's all here. Let's go ahead and get this started. Again, thank each and every one of you for joining us on our Monday night recap call of the ILCA 5-Day Challenge. My name is your Queen Connectress, Miss Marnita Casa. Yes, ma'am, I see you. Miss Marnita Casa, and I am your humble hostess for this evening. Now, it is my honor to introduce you all to a man that for over 25 years dominated the direct sales industry. His cryptocurrency education is used by companies and universities worldwide. Now, for over 9 years, I believe, he dedicated his life to learning about blockchain technology and cryptocurrency, but he didn't just stop there. He decided to go out and share that information with the masses. And he did this by putting on fun and exciting Bitcoin boot camps nationwide at no cost. He has built thriving communities and wonderful platforms like you see before you now. So without further ado, it is my honor to introduce you all to Mr. Brandon Ivey.
All right, all right. Thank you for that lovely introduction, Miss Casa. And as always, being on time, prepared, and ready to be able to be our hostess for everybody and greeting everybody and for all the hard work that you're doing behind the scenes that nobody even knows about. I give you your flowers for that and for your family for lending you out to us on an evening when they love be having you in front of them right now. So much, much appreciated. And thank you all of you for being here tonight. This is our Monday night recap call of the 5-day challenge. This was the last 5-day challenge of 2025 last week. We had two speakers last week, CJ Jackson and Leonard Long, that were able to share their story. Tonight, you're going to hear from our third member. And just so you guys know, that with this being the last 5-day challenge, that means we're not going to be doing anything in the 5-day challenge for December. The next one won't be until January, and it will be under our banner of Ivy League Coaching Academy. So we did something different last week. On night one, instead of covering what is the blockchain, we covered what is the river of money, the why. In fact, the 5-day challenge is going to have a new theme moving forward next year. And it's not going to be so much about 5 days to learn about crypto. It's going to be more about 5 days to learn about financial stability and why you want to be in the crypto space, the river of money. So a little bit of a shift in here so that people understand why they need to take this so seriously and how to invite you into our community. So that's going to be next year. But before we get into the recap from last weekend, the topic tonight on how to make money in crypto and my big announcement at the end about ILCA's new partnership, I want to bring up a gentleman that I have a lot of respect for. He's been with our community almost probably from the beginning. He's a consummate student of learning this information and this knowledge and sharing with others. So I want to bring up to share his testimonial from Los Angeles, California, Mr. Kenny Taylor.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that, Miss Marnita. So I'm gonna try and keep it short tonight. Just tell you a little bit of how I got started. So I first heard about Bitcoin. I think it was somewhere around 2000, between 2008 2010, from my little brother who was working with one of the financial institutions in New York at the time. And he approached me one day saying, "Hey, we just learned about this thing called Bitcoin. We're trying to get involved in it, him and a few of his friends." And he was like, "Hey, do you have, a couple $100 you want to put in?" And at the time I didn't, but, and they really didn't, I guess no one really knew about what it was or how it worked or anything. It was just something everybody just started hearing about. But looking back on it from today's perspective, if there had been just a little bit of education about it to where he could have given me even a little bit of explanation of what it was or how it worked, I probably would have found a way to get, $200-300 to get in on it. And who knows what, life would be like today. So, but at that time, no one knew. It was just something everybody heard about. So it kind of stayed on the table, not really talked about. And then over the years, he would send me little stuff. I would ask him questions. Hey, what's this crypto thing I keep hearing about? Again, it was just vague information. No one really knew what crypto was or how it worked, what the blockchain was or anything. So it was just in passing conversations over years. So, and no real movement on it. So moving forward to working, I don't know if anyone ever joked, but I used to joke about with people, working for someone else, how if you killed over at your desk, they would just basically step over you and just keep moving. That's their company. No one would really care. So in 2019, Friday morning, 9 o'clock, I had a major stroke sitting at my desk in a cubicle. My jokes almost became real life at that time. I came pretty close to dying at my desk, working for someone else. And basically, they got me out of there and the company kept rolling. You know, Jokes can become real life sometimes. Over the course of getting myself back healthy over about 2 years, I was seriously like, okay, I can't do this. I can't die working for someone else. How can I change my life? I was looking for some, I was, asking God, send me someone, a mentor, or put me in a circle with people who can, show me how to get what I need. Not just what I want, but what I need, not only for myself, but for my family. So around 2021, I met a gentleman, Dave Winters, who was involved in some crypto projects um, with Connect and a couple other things with people. And he actually turned me on to Mr. Brandon, who was also involved in, the same group. So I got involved in it. I started getting into projects. Um, Here and there, listening to people, hey, you need to get into this. This is how this is going to work. You're going to make all this money. So I was just pouring money that I really didn't have, but I needed to spend to position myself, for the possibilities. Needless to say, I lost a lot of money. Nothing, was panning out. That's when I first learned how projects actually kind of work. You start out hearing about it, you start out hearing about the potential of them, and then you sit and wait and hope that they take off. Well, because everything was still new, the ecosystem, everything surrounding crypto was still new. It was just people just coming up with things and kind of throwing them against the wall and hoping something stuck and made it, which in my case it didn't. So then uh, Dave turned me on to Brandon. So I started listening to him and following him, and I liked what he was talking about. And I realized when he started ILCA that I was listening to people's opinions versus education. And that's when it struck me as like, okay, everything I've been learning about, or so-called learning about, was someone's opinion based on what they was doing and not what really worked. And that's when he started ILCA and I started learning, okay, the difference between educations versus opinion. Education is going to show you what works and give you the tools to figure out what works and what doesn't work and what you need to do and what is just, again, someone's opinion on what worked for them. And I figured out that all these people who were so-called successful in what they were doing, one, it was coming off the back of other people's from recruiting, not necessarily the projects that they were recruiting for. And then one big loss I had with the project called Gala, where I inadvertently gave someone access to my wallet, my crypto wallet, and lost a lot of Gala tokens because the person told me, oh, don't worry about, I asked, what's 2FA? What's this? What's that? Oh, don't worry about that. That stuff is just something that you can do or you can't do. It's more of a hassle to do. It slows you down. Okay, I listened. That was her opinion. I ended up losing. But looking back at it, that was probably good for me in a way because when I did get into ILCA and started learning, if I hadn't had those losses, I wouldn't have been open-minded enough. And I can be honest about this, knowing myself, if I had been winning before then, I wouldn't have been open-minded enough to really listen and take in what Brandon was teaching, because it was working for me. Yeah, he's, saying some good stuff, but I don't really need to listen because what I'm doing is working. That's why I say I think it was good that I had those losses and everything because it showed me that, okay, the people I was dealing with didn't know really anything what they were talking about. I needed to learn how this thing worked, how this space worked for myself and get with someone who could really teach me, what I needed to know to move forward, not only for myself, but for my family. So as I, would listen to crypto talks, listen to crypto talks at work, keeping the volume down low, put my headphones on, act like I'm working, when I could, and trying to listen to recordings in the evenings when I got home, that became very hard. But I still tried to keep up on it as much as I could. So it wasn't until last year, April, after my mom died, that I made the decision not to go back to work. I'm not going to work for anyone else. If I didn't do this now, I never would. I'm never going to get where I needed to be sitting at a desk working for someone else. The reason I made that decision, and I know I could make that decision because of the confidence that I had gained from learning from ILCA. The education I was getting showed me that I can do this. I could step off that cliff and make a living in this space and do what I needed to do. And from then, I haven't looked back because at that point, I stopped focusing on the task and I started focusing on the goals of what I needed in life and where I wanted to be. And again, I got that from being a part of this space and everything that came with it, which leads me to this community, this family, and the like-minded people. Everyone's moving in the same direction. to meet goals, to do better for themselves and for their families. So being around the people in this community gives you the confidence, and it also helps you to reinforce what you know. Because as I'm talking to other people in the community, we're getting on calls and we're discussing, different events, and we're discussing projects, and I'm asking them for help and I'm giving them help. It's dawning on me like, okay, man, I really know this. I know more than I felt that I knew. If I can help Joyce or Patty or Leonard, when they have a question and I can explain it to them, it's like, damn, okay, I do know this. And that gives me even more confidence to keep going. So that's the beauty of being in a community, in a family. You're all helping each other, you're all learning together, but you're also seeing that you're really understanding and you're taking in what you're learning. So that's really what helps me and keeps me going. And then being part of a community, I can go on for days about this community, because you're with people who not only care about you professionally, but personally. If you can reach out to anyone at any time, ask a question, about the projects we're in or a lesson that we just talked about. But those conversations also go into personal. Hey, you might be dealing with something, or they might be dealing with something that you're talking about it to each other about. And just having that support on both ends is amazing. I don't even get that from my own family. Most of my family think I'm crazy when I talk about crypto, or anything about it, or trying to get them to understand what's going on and the geopolitics of this world, the financial situations, and what we need to be looking at. They don't want to hear it. So being a part of something where people understand you and support you, I can't even put that into words, because I've heard over the years that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Well, I changed that for myself. I don't call it luck. I call it blessings, because when you educate it, that's your preparation. Your opportunities are going to come from that education, because you're going to be able to start recognizing things that you didn't understand. That's where your blessing comes in, because now you're prepared to take advantage of those opportunities. And the more you keep learning, the more opportunities are going to come and the more blessings. Like they say, faith without works is dead. Well, if you're not giving God something to bless, you can't complain when you don't get any blessings. We can't sit around hoping, wishing, praying for our lives to change, and we're not doing anything to help it. So the more you give God to bless, the more blessings you're going to receive. And the more you do to get blessed, okay, that comes from education. The more you're getting educated, the more you're learning, the more you're being prepared for those blessings that are coming to you. And they're going to keep coming, because as Brandon said, and it dawned on me when he said it, stop focusing on the task, start focusing on your goals. You focus on your goals, the task, when it comes, is going to be there. And I've been seeing that since I took that big leap. Whenever I needed something, I didn't worry about how I was going to get it, or how I was going to get the money to do it, or how I was going to work out this. I just focused on the goal of what I'm trying to do. And the blessing of the task was always taken care of when I needed it. So that's one something I look at every day, is like, I'm looking forward. I'm not worried about how I'm going to get down the road. I just keep walking down the road, and whatever I need on my journey, God brings it. It appears. Those are the blessings. So just to kind of put it in perspective for other people who aren't a part of this community, ILCA is not a get rich quick thing. It's a process. It's about preparing yourself, creating a financial blueprint and a plan to create generational wealth, for yourself, for your family, for your future, family, your kids, grandkids, their kids. But it's not something that's just going to fall in your lap. You got to put the work in. You got to dedicate yourself to doing the work. You got to dedicate yourself to learning. And for those who are listening who aren't a part of this and who've been looking for something like this, like I was, there's a few things that you need to understand about yourself before you come into, because this community is not going to be for everyone. And I'm just going to be straight about that. Not because anybody thinks they're better, or if you don't know this, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with you. If you're not open-minded, if you're not teachable, if you're not willing to learn, if you're not willing to put the work in, then this isn't for you. Because there's not going to be anybody taking you by the hand and say, okay, come on, you got to get on this. Come on, you got to get on Crypto Talk. You got to, engage with the classes on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. You got to be there on Thursday. If you want it, you got to go after it. You got to dedicate yourself, because no one's going to do it for you. It's all up to you. And you can't let outside influences and outside voices tell you that you're wrong. You have to know within yourself that what you're doing is right for you, and it's going to take you where you need to be. Not listening to all the naysayers and the haters saying, oh, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're doing. Okay, yeah, I might have taken a loss on this. That project didn't work out, but this one over here may work out. We're in several projects now we're waiting on. There's great potential. All of them may not hit, out of the 5 or 6, maybe 1, but that's all you need. But if you don't take the steps to even get into that one, you're never going to know. And I look at ILCA to me as like going to college, because I was thinking about this the other day, and it kind of broke down to, the same way to me. We learn about geopolitics. We learn about government. We learn about education. We learn about technology. We learn about critical thinking, all within everything we're doing. It may not be where you go to class from this time to this time to learn a specific subject, but all those subjects are in what we're doing and what we're learning and what we're teaching. To me, it's like, okay, you want to get your AA, you get crypto certified. You want to get your BA, you become a crypto coach. There is no master's degree, because no one's ever going to be a master at crypto, because there's always changing. There's always more to learn. You're always evolving. The space is always evolving. But if you stay engaged, you can be successful. You can move with the times, because you're going to continue learning. You got to continually stay engaged. And, this community, it's been an honor and a pleasure to see the transformations of everyone in this community from the beginning to where they are now. Everyone in this community has become leaders. When we first started, it was just people sitting around listening to Brandon talk, and him trying to get people to engage. And somebody might ask a question here, a question there. I don't believe I said much, probably the first year and a half been in ILCA. But then I got comfortable, because I started believing in the concept. There are no stupid questions. No one's going to make you feel bad about something you ask that you don't know. Because what I started learning is the same questions I had is the same questions a lot of people had. So it made me want to get more engaged, to ask questions. And then they started asking questions. And then when other people started getting more engaged, it made me think, okay, what about this? Okay, how does that work? And now it's just something that I don't want to do without. When we don't have crypto talks or we don't have diamond class, it's like going through withdrawals. And I know a lot of people in the community feel that way. It's like, okay, man, it's like a punch in the gut. Oh man, we're not gonna do this for a week. Brandon gonna be out of town. Juanita's doing this. Okay, what we gonna do? And then we come back, and it's like, okay, woof, we're back. Okay, we can get back into it. So that's just the something that's phenomenal about this community and this family that I'm, blessed to be a part of, and I'm honored to be a part of. And Mr. Brandon, you're an amazing person, and I thank you. And I really want to thank your mom and your family for raising not only a good man but a good person, giving you the traits that you've built on over your life to say, okay, I want to give back to people. Because I've been in the room with a lot of people who, rich, uh, powerful people, in the military and the government, who always wanted to hope, they never want to pass on their knowledge. They always wanted to be the one everyone needs to come to. And they give you a little bit here and there. But that's not what we have in Mr. Brandon. He's a genuine good person who wants to give back and uplift other people. He's not giving you a handout. He's giving you a hand up. And he's going to work with you and teach you and give you the opportunities to learn and be where he is. As he's mentioned before, he doesn't have to do this. He can just take care of himself and his family and not look back, but he doesn't want to do that. And that's the blessing for all of us, to have someone like that mentoring you and teaching you, and then turning others into mentors. Everybody in this community is a mentor now because we're all at that level where we can teach each other. So, and even people who come in, don't think that you got to come in, and don't be intimidated, because we're going to get you where we are, and you're going to surpass even some of us, because everyone learns at different speeds, different times, and in different ways. So you're going to get there. If you're not in ILCA, you need to be. That's all I'm going to say. If you've been looking for a way to change your life and change your future, you're in the right place. So get off the fence and join the community, because you have people here who are waiting to help you. And if you decide this isn't from you, okay, fine, no worries. But a month from now, a week, a year, when you come back, we'll still be here and we'll welcome you in whenever you decide you're ready. But you have to know that you're ready. And I want to end with saying that, Mr. Brandon, you're the head of the ILCA, but Miss Marnita is the heart of ILCA. She's that inspiration to everyone. I remember when she first started, she was shy about getting on camera. She was shy about asking questions. Now everything. She's the heart of this community. She's the inspiration. She's mom, she's sister, she's auntie, she's friend. If you need scolding, she's gonna scold you. If you need, that soft voice, she's gonna get that to you, but she's gonna be there for you. And that rubs off onto everyone in this community. And I just want to say thanks to everyone in the community for everything you've given me and helping me at times when I needed it, and for helping each other, because I see everyone out there helping each other when someone needs it. So with that, I'm just gonna give it back to you, sir.
All right, all right, all right. Give it up, everybody, to Mr. Taylor. Thank you for sharing your story as a wonderful testimony on your journey to get to where you are right now. And I see you have been paying attention. He brought something up, an old training of mine. Focus on the goal and not the task. That's actually one of our trainings that's going to be in the Ivy League Coaching Academy. There's a whole series about that. focusing on the
Uh,
goal and not the task. Most people focus on the task and not necessarily the goal. Most people don't even know what the goal is, but that's for another day. So thank you for sharing that, Kenny. We're going to move
well,
on over to
I think
tonight.
most people know their goal. They're just so focused on the task that they can't see the goal.
There you go. Thank you for that, Mr. Taylor. All right, so now we're going to get into the recap lesson for tonight, which is how to make money in crypto. One thing that I know about people is I know what people need. People need crypto education, but I also know what people want. People want to make money, and they're willing to skip the education to go straight to the money part. What I'm here to show you is that you don't skip that part. Do the education first, and once you've got that, all of a sudden, all of these money opportunities are going to start to appear that you didn't even know was possible. I mean, if you look at even our River of Money group, the opportunities that we're taking a part of, you would have never known about these if it wasn't for the education first, especially the way that we do it. And I'm not talking about you just hopping on Facebook and seeing somebody post about who wants to make some money. I'm talking about real opportunities. Our goal is being in position to make money without having to recruit and without having to sell a product, goods, or service. Just by using passive income, your knowledge, and where the river of money is flowing right now, which is this space. And I'm going to talk about at the end what our new partnership is. But let me go ahead and share screen, and we're going to talk about, and I'm going to modify this for tonight to keep us in the time limit. So let me share screen two. So the path to having success with Bitcoin. Now that you learned about the river of money, you learned about what blockchain technology is. You've learned about what is cryptocurrency, what are wallets, and how do I buy crypto, and why crypto security is so important. Let's talk about the path to having some success. First thing you must do is not ignore the facts, which we covered Monday night. Most people will fail financially. That's a fact. That's a fact. Only 1 in 100 people working a 9 to 5 job make it out on the other side pretty good. That, you know what? I have to relook those numbers. That was true maybe 10 years ago. It might be 1 in 200 today. 93% don't have good salaries. 95% will not succeed in business. 97% will retire broke, depending on family, government, and friends by the age of 65. Most people do not have $1,000 in their savings account. And most people cannot afford a $400 emergency without going into debt or putting it on a credit card. If your parents made $80,000 in 1990, you'd have to make $246,000 in 2025 to afford the same life. As a sidebar, my wife normally does most of the grocery shopping, but I went to the store the other day because I wanted to pick up some things. And it's amazing. I went in there just to get one item, and next thing I know, I spent $80 on other stuff. But the gentleman in front of me, the grocery store we go to has two carts. You got the big cart, and then there's like a little mini cart, like if like Sprouts, if you know what Sprouts is. There's this little mini cart, and he was ringing his stuff up, and it wasn't much at all, and it came up to more than $200, and he said, "Wow, finally, this is a milestone, more than $200 in a tiny cart." And all of us in line was like, "Wow." And then I actually looked at, wait a minute, how much am I actually spending? I really don't pay. I just, if I want something, I get it. And I looked at, I said, wait a minute, I'm paying $80 for this? One bag with the stuff? And I only went to the store to get one item in the first place and got all googly-eyed and started picking up the stuff up. Insane. You'd have to make $250,000 to have the same lifestyle as 80,000 in 1990. Remember the wealth inequality video I played on Monday? The key to financial wealth is being in an industry where wealth is available. Follow the river of money. 70% of all jobs out there in America do not pay a livable wage. And barely if you have two adults in the household working a full-time job. Even they will tell you that they're barely making ends meet and they're still one paycheck away from hardship and being on the street. But you must follow the river of money. What that means is money changes and adapts over time. Money is energy. It's not what you think about. It's not this $100 bills. That's not money. It's a representation of a resource that you use to buy things that you want. And over time, that changes. Technology changes, society changes. I want you to think about this. Digital currency is the new financial revolution. I've been saying this for 8 years, 9 years now. But if you turn on the news, this is one thing about crypto talk. Every morning we are skimming through the news. And this is all we see all over the news, whether it's inside of crypto or outside of crypto. Digital currency is the new financial revolution. But there have been other changes we've seen in society, like Uber, a transportation company that owns no cars, Amazon, the world's largest retail chain that has no stores, or Airbnb, a hotel chain that owns no property. Bitcoin is the financial representation of this. Bitcoin in 2009 was worth 0.003 cents. By 2021, $50,000. I actually have to change this because it got to 128,000 in 2025. It's sitting at now about $86,000 a coin, somewhere around there. Can you imagine going from 0.003 cents to $128,000 in 15 years? This has been the greatest performing asset over the past decade by far. Nothing ever comes close. In 2009, Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin, the world's first global decentralized cryptocurrency. In 2009, Bitcoin's value was less than a penny. In 2010, it was valued at 40 cents. 2016, $600. 2025, it reached over $100,000. If you had invested $100 in Bitcoin in 2010, today it would be worth over $27 million. How many of you had $100 in 2010 or could have found a way to get $100? Everybody. Everybody could have. But what people don't understand is what it is. What is the blockchain? What is Bitcoin? Is it real? Am I too late? How do I buy it? And most importantly, can I spend it? Due to trial and error, I have come up with 4 keys to crypto success. I was not taught this. This is what I figured out. Rule number 1, and this is like my prime directive for those of you that love Star Trek. This is my gospel, my Bible, and crypto. I follow these 4 rules. Every time I don't, 9 times out of 10, I lose whenever I step out of these 4 rules. Rule number 1, education is key. It is everything. No matter what you do, be educated on it. If you're going to jump into an opportunity, get educated on that opportunity first. Any of the things that I bring to our community, I put out all the information and education about it first, and I say you need to do your own homework. Do your own research. Do not just be a follower of what I say and what I do, because things that I do may be good for me, but they may not be good for you. Education is key. It is everything. Rule number 2, never, and let me repeat this, ever invest money you cannot afford to lose. There is no guarantee in this space. This is a very volatile space. And there's chances of you losing is greater than the chance of you winning, especially if you're not educated in the space. It's just the wins that you have will be greater than all the losses combined. But you're going to have to go through loss in this space too. Rule number 3, always get your investment back as fast as possible. This way you minimize what you lose. So whatever money you put in first, the name of the game is to get a profit. You make your money back, and then everything after that is gravy. It's profit. I know a lot of people that skip this. They mess up rule number 2 by putting life savings in something, or their rent money, or their car money, or their grocery money, money they can't afford to play with. And then when it's time for them to take their money out, things are still rising, things are going good. They get a little greedy on it. Nah, nah. If I just wait a little longer, I'll just wait. No, always get your money back as fast as possible. And then rule number four, you're setting goals. Where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What are you willing to do to make that happen? Find a vehicle or vehicles that you can be a part of. Take action and do not get distracted. And what I mean by that is not just pick one opportunity and that's the only thing you can do. No, you want to be diversified, but you can't be diversified into everything. You have limited resources. The blockchain technology is already going to disrupt every single industry. That doesn't mean you have to be in every single industry. That also goes for even our river of money. We have right now 5 opportunities, 5 ways that you can earn passively without having to recruit anybody. But that doesn't mean you have to be a part of all 5. You may start off with one. You may do 2 or 3 that more aligns to you, and you can work your way up. By us having 5, it gives options. So you have options. Plus, I never believe in putting all my eggs in one basket. Now, following these rules is not going to guarantee your success, but it will at least minimize your risk. And that's the most that we can ask for, especially in a space like this. 5 tips to investing in crypto. Do your own homework, period. That's why I love educating our community, because now you guys are able to do your own homework and not rely, well, what does Brandon have to say about this? Do your own homework. Or if you're presented with opportunities outside of ILCA from other people you may follow and respect, and it may sound and look good coming from what they're saying, but you still need to do your own homework. I do not believe anything. I look at everything in this space with a side eye. I'm skeptical. I believe that you have a greater chance of failing. Does that mean that I'm afraid of this space? Does that mean that I can't take advantage of anything because I'm skeptical? No. I have a simple rule. I look at whatever it is that's in front of me. If you fail by 90%, you only got it 10% right. Can I still make a profit? The answer is yes. I move forward cautiously, but that's after I've done my homework. And then that's the second thing. I proceed with caution. Diversify effectively. See, I spent this next month 26 years in the direct selling space. You know what I was taught for the majority of that? They said you can't ride 2 horses with one ass. You got to pick one company, plant your flag, and be willing to go all in. And don't be distracted by other opportunities. The grass is never greener on the other side of the fence. The grass is green where you water it. And that's true to a certain point. But I learned quickly that as much loyalty as you're giving to another company, they ain't giving it back to you. And once I started to have success in the space, my biggest problem moved from can I recruit? Can I build an organization? Can I sell a product? To will the CEO make the right decisions to keep the business running? That not get pulled down, rugged down, shut down, or whatever, scamming people. That's been the biggest obstacle. So I never put my faith in any CEO of any company. That doesn't mean that I can't take advantage of what they put in front of me. So I diversify in multiple things. Just in case this doesn't work, I still have sources of income coming in from other opportunities. So diversify effectively. Keep your coins in secure wallets. The most secure wallet is a non-custodial wallet where you have the private key and nobody else has access to it. Prepare for volatility. You cannot have emotions in this space. If you are an emotional person by nature and you can't overcome that, do not be involved in the blockchain crypto space. At least not until the government has it completely regulated and you feel security, like a bank. Don't get into this space if you cannot manage your emotions, and do not make decisions based on emotion. Here are some money-making activities. You got to think short-term, long-term. Even when trading, I have short-term trading strategies. I have long-term trading strategies. Some of the opportunities I have is for short-term profit gain. Other opportunities is 12 to 24 months down the road, if not longer. Learn how to trade. Even if you don't want to become a day trader, so to speak, learning this skill is priceless. You become like Catherine, a walking ATM machine. This is one of the biggest and most important skills in crypto for you to learn. Again, you don't have to start trading, but knowing this will put you light speed ahead of everybody else that gets into the space and they don't know how to trade because you know how to read the charts. And when you see the market move in a certain way, you'll know how to move on some of your other portfolios. Be involved in some form of mining. This community is already involved in mining through the Move to Earn app. So be involved in some form of mining. I think I am involved with 3 or 4, maybe 5 mining operations right now. I don't promote them, but be involved in some form of mining. That's another form of income. And the entire blockchain is built because there are miners out there mining and building the blockchain. Investing in coins. So most people only hear about Bitcoin, but once they get into the space, you start to hear about other tokens, or you're hearing stories of people getting rich almost overnight by getting in some of these meme coins, Shiba Inu, Doge, and whatnot. But you need the education first so you know the right coins to be involved in. There are thousands upon tens of thousands tokens out there. Most of them are crap. So you got to know how to spot a legitimate one from a crappy one, but have a diversified portfolio. In ILCA, I share my portfolio. I share the type of tokens that I look at. And when we find new ones, we got five, wait, how many of it? I think 4 pre-launch tokens right now that we've been following in our inner circle. But investing in coins, that's going to make you some money, but you know what's going to make you rich? Investing in projects. Projects. See, when I go to blockchain expos, I don't go there to listen to some clown on stage trying to impress with everybody about how smart they are. I walk the booths, the halls. I want to see all the new businesses that are forming. You know, the biggest companies in the world right now came from the internet era. But how many people thought that they were going to do anything in the 90s? Knowing what you know now, you go back to the 90s, would you have invested in those big companies? Amazon, Alibaba, then you had the MySpace and then Facebook and all that kind of stuff. Yahoo at the time was the biggest one. The email AOL, you've got mail. Well, guess what? Over the next 10 to 15 years, the biggest companies in the world are going to be ones directly involved with blockchain technology. I want to know which companies that is going to be. So I want to invest in those projects, those companies. That's my long-term plan. But if you have absolutely nothing, like when I came into this space, my goal was to come into this space with my knowledge and $250,000, and that was a dangerous combination. Things didn't work out that way. Here's another rule I learned in business and in life. When 99% of the journey is done, you're halfway there. I don't celebrate until it's 100%. Even at just 1%. That was a lesson I learned the hard way. So when I came into this space thinking I was going to come in with $250,000, I only actually had $30 and I was faced with almost having to get a job. And that's another story. Another time, I think it might be time for me to share my story again. Last month you heard from the women. This month you heard from the men. I haven't shared my story in a while, but I only had $30. But you know what I had that was more valuable than that $30? Was my education, my knowledge. Took me 6 months teaching myself. There was no ILCA to help me. Trial and error. I flipped that $30 into 6 figures in 3.5 months from the end of August 2017 to December 2017. And then the rest is history from then on out. But if you're in a situation where you don't have the resources and you barely are getting the education, join networking opportunities. Networking opportunities allow you to earn unlimited income based on how hard are you willing to work. For the first time in 2 years, I am getting back in the networking side of things. Although this is not classified as a network marketing company, kind of the components are the same because I'm working with other people for the first time in 2 years. So for those of you who need that type of opportunity, I'm about to announce what that is at the end, a couple of minutes. But join a network marketing company opportunity, and then take the money you make from that and use that to build your crypto blockchain portfolio. Always flip your money. Flip your money. The easiest way that you can get started without any knowledge or education at all is how I taught my mom at the very beginning, the dollar cost average. Decide how much you are willing to invest short and long term. Instead of putting it all in at one time, you break it up over a period of time. Create a budget for yourself, whether it is daily, weekly, or monthly. The goal is accumulation of crypto assets, which means sometimes you will be buying when the market is down, and sometimes you are buying when the market is up. Do not worry about what the cost of the asset is today. Our goal is where it will be in the long run. So those who got into Bitcoin when it was over $100,000 a coin and you're crying now because it's in the $80,000 range, I hope it keeps dropping. I make more money when the market goes down. You're not at a loss. You only lose when you sell. Sit tight because the rocket ship is going to push that sucker all the way over $200,000 a coin. So don't worry about what the cost of it is today. Just keep buying on a regular basis and have a 5-year game plan with that. There is no crying in baseball. What? That's right. I said it earlier. You cannot have emotions in this space. You will lose. Pay your taxes. I have always avoided really talking about taxes in crypto because the rules are always changing. I am not a licensed financial advisor, and I don't want to give any type of suggestion or advice. Somebody takes it, they mess up, and then they turn around and blame me for it. Instead, thanks to Samantha Studebaker Carl, we have a tax expert that's scheduled to speak to us on, I think this date was December 17th. Now, it's not going to be open to the public. You have to be in the inner circle, the gold membership, or above, and you'll have access to speak to a crypto tax professional. I'm gonna basically be interviewing them, and then we'll have Q&A. But pay your taxes. Don't use crypto to avoid having to pay taxes. And then the next step is joining a community. So people who understand the power of Bitcoin in this era will be one step closer to finding their financial freedom. And that is what ILCA is all about. Now, what is ILCA? I'm not going to go into that in detail tonight because I already did this past Saturday. So go back and watch the presentation on Saturday where we cover in detail what ILCA is. From all of our courses, more than 200 videos with 13 courses, with one more course coming with stablecoin, and then an entire new series with the Ivy League Coaching Academy next year, followed by our live trainings, our community with our Inner Circle Crypto Talks and our Diamond classes. And then your invitation to be a part of our River of Money group, where you can now take your education and knowledge, some of the money that you've made, and start putting it to work for you to earn passive income. My goal is to have at least 100 people earning $2,500 to $10,000 a month. And how many people can we get to a point where they're able to walk off their job? We have several that are positioned that within the next 12 months, it's life changing. I even say their names: Samantha Studebaker Carl, Rhoda Gay, Tammy Lee Gully, Christopher Hall, Michael Luco, I think's up in there. I think I might be missing somebody that's already in a position. They're doing their part of the work. And I'm so excited to see what the results of that's going to be in 2026. Now yeah, because I'm not going over all of this. Now, let me talk about the big announcement, the partnership. I have left the network marketing space for 2 years after I've been 25 years in this industry. And the only way that I would ever come back into the space is if it made sense to what we were already doing. One thing that I learned, when did I share this? I shared that my 30s was about branding myself. My 40s was about building a community and helping other people to achieve what I've done. And then in my 50s coming up is more about legacy, passive income, letting your money work for you type opportunities. And one of the things that is so important in this space is that you are promoting you, not being a cheerleader for another company that is always going to let you down. So I have only moved forward with ILCA because it's my company. I can control. I have a say so in what's happening. I don't have to wait. And if you know my story, oh my, the horror stories I have dealing with different CEOs of companies and their promises. Some of you just witnessed, I'm not going to say the name, but everybody in ILCA just witnessed what happened in the past year. I put a year of my dedication, knowledge, expertise, name, and reputation to help build something only to be stabbed in the back. Not because the opportunity is not great, just a different in how people want to run their business. It was just another reminder that I always focus on your brand and your company. So the only way I will ever entertain the thought of coming back into any type of network marketing opportunities is if there's some form of partnership or collaboration with my company, ILCA. If we can come to that type of an agreement, then I'm not an affiliate. I'm not a rep. I am a partner. And I've been saying this for 6 months, and finally, some people are starting to figure that out, and they're approaching me that way. This one's not the other. There's a couple of others that have approached me as well. But this company approached me and said, Brandon, we are in an industry that you talk about all the time. We're in an industry that you wrote a course on. How many of you guys have gone through our tokenization course? And you know when I wrote that? 2 years ago, already ahead of the trend. I wrote an entire course about tokenization. Why? Because as I said, that cryptocurrency represents the greatest economic shift in wealth in the history of mankind. Somebody type in the chat box, how much money are we talking about with tokenization of real world assets? Type that in the chat box. $867 trillion is on the move. Now, going into my 50s, there's another industry that, Marnita, when did I start saying this? I think earlier this year, or maybe sometime maybe last year, I started sharing with her that I want to start learning more skill set when it comes to real estate. Because again, it was tokenization. And 2 years ago, there was a company that attempted to create a networking type style company taking advantage of the tokenization of real estate, and it didn't really pop off. About a year and a half ago, you started hearing me talking about that. So this company says we're already doing it. Tokenization of real estate, fractionalized ownership, the ability for somebody who's never owned anything as far as real estate or type of property or ownership of any kind because they can't afford it, because it's I mean, the cost of living is so high. We got the president talking about a 50-year mortgage. The average person is in their 40s before they can buy their first home. This new generation of kids are going to live with their parents well into their 30s. In fact, you're going to start having, which in some societies is normal, 3 to 4 generations all living under the same roof. Now, that's not necessarily bad, but it's not happening because the families want everybody to be together. It's happening out of necessity because you can't afford a home. My parents bought their first home at like 22, 21, 22. So, what we're talking about is utilizing this blockchain technology to allow for anybody, not just institutional builders and investors out there, but anybody to be able to have a stake in some form of ownership of not one type of property, but of multiple. Type in the chat box, how much money are we talking about out of that 867 trillion is in the tokenized real estate industry? $16 trillion. My grandfather always said the money and wealth is in property. Own property. Own property. Own, well, he said it, land. Own land. You gotta own land. The biggest, the gold rush, and then out west, the housing rush. There's gonna be a new frontier, especially with the metaverse, digital, digital frontier of real estate. Land will always be there. Property will always be valuable no matter what. But now we can have the blockchain in it. So this company is taking full advantage of that. Now, this is a brand new industry that is being created. And with saying that, that means the rules haven't been put in place yet, which is why I always what? Proceed with caution. They are in the river of money. They have contracted with ILCA for me to be their crypto educator. Why? Because most people that join crypto-based projects, they do so for the first, and this is their first time being introduced to crypto. So there's a whole lot of real estate people and real estate agents that's coming in. They don't know nothing about crypto. So this company was smart enough to do what I've been running my mouth about for years that every company in crypto should do: lead with education. So it's twofold here. One, I get to learn about digital real estate, not only just learning it, but putting it into practice. And two, I get to teach this new community crypto education, which is what I love to do. What's the name of this company? Now, pay close attention to what I'm about to say, because I am never breaking from my core rules and principles. I'm only branding myself. So this is the first and the last time you're going to hear me say this company publicly. The name of the company is called eEstate. They've been formed for more than a year. They just launched this past June. Now, I don't know if this company is going to be successful long term. I don't know if they're going to be doing everything the right way and following all the rules and regulations that's always constantly changing. What I do know is that they're the only one so far that's done this right, that's having success. They pulled it off. And it looks like their intent is to do everything above board. And here's another thing that I love. You know how much that it costs for an average person to be involved? $10 is the low. So that means anybody can get their foot in the door to see what this is all about without much risk. For me, the goal is not to make as much money as I possibly can. I can do that in any industry. The goal for me is to learn as much as I can about this industry, because you don't have to believe me. You believe the $16 trillion that's on the move, and then companies like BlackRock, Fidelity, JP Morgan, Franklin Templeton, or World Liberty Financial. Type in the chat box, who's behind World Liberty Financial? Do you know what they just did? Or the announcement that they just made? Which Trump? Let me see who was really paying attention. Which Trump made this announcement about their resorts in the Maldives? Eric Trump. And he talked about the tokenization of real estate, giving the average person the ability to own resorts in the Maldives, fractional ownership, and that he believes that this tokenized real estate is the new next frontier. Only this time, everybody can be involved. And this company is allowing you to do so. So that's the only time I'm going to mention the name of that company. Does that mean I'm not talking about it publicly? Oh, I'm going to be talking a lot about it publicly. I'm only going to be using different language. I'll be talking about tokenized real estate, and I'll be talking about ILCA estate. Everything I do is being run underneath my company, my brand's umbrella. That's because of what's the word? Experience. And we protect ourselves, we protect the house. There are so many scammers out there, hackers out there, people who don't want to see anybody win in anything, and we will not be putting targets on our back. We've already know how to deal with those type of individuals, so we protect our house. Our first training will begin that I will be doing for them will be December 3rd, a week from this Wednesday. I'll be doing 4 series with them every month. So every week will be a new series, but there's 4 of them. And we're going to be covering some of the basics. But the first lesson will be a week from this Wednesday. For those of you that are in my inner circle and diamond class, you already know about this and you guys already have the link. And a lot of you have already signed up. I want to make this point clear too. This is not network marketing. This is the real estate side of things on the digital side. So it's you got to look at it from a different set of eyes, which is why I want to learn because it is different. Where they're bringing on digitized real estate agents, not you're in a rep or an affiliate. Doesn't work that way. Different protocols. So for those of you who are not in my inner circle and diamond class and you're hearing this for the first time, you saw me teasing this for the past week. Miss Casa, if you could put that registration link in the Facebook group. Our VIP members don't need that. But in the Facebook group, there's a registration link for you to get more info. Either later tonight or tomorrow morning, we'll be sending an email out to all of those who registered on that. Within this email is going to be a couple of things. One is going to be some information about what e-estate is. Two, it's going to have the sign up link for those who want to sign up. And three, there's going to be a Zoom link for the next presentation that will be tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So it's going to happen right after our diamond class. So we're going to be up in there deep. 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific tomorrow night. You can see a full presentation of this opportunity and then decide if you want to do anything from there. So that's what's going to be in the welcome or the information email that's going to go out for those that have registered on that link. If you need that link, then you can send myself or Miss Casa a private message and we can get you that registration link as well. So be on the lookout for that email going out. This is going to take off like wild. I'll make a couple of predictions. You're going to start to hear about this from all over the place. For one. Number two, you're going to start to hear a whole lot of negativity all over the place as well. This is a brand new space, never been done before, so it's bound to attract that type of attention as also. But you're going to start hearing about this. And you're going to think, man, I should have got on board. People you know is going to start telling you about it. Why again? $10. So with that is the only, no, CJ, you don't. That's only for those that are not in the inner circle or diamond class. You guys already got the links. You know who to go to get the link. So everybody else, and again, like I said, I'm here to learn. I want to learn as much as I can. Also, they have an event, live event coming up from one of their properties in January, the January 31st, that weekend. So I'll be in Miami that week for that event. So you just guys start planning for that. Also, you're going to start seeing probably within a week or so registration going out for our ILCA event that will be taking place next March here in California in the Inland Empire. So we'll have that link going out to register for that as well. That's where a lot of my focus is going to be, getting that event set up. We call it Financial Help is on the Way. 2026 is going to be either the best business year for some people or the most challenging for everybody else. There's still time for you to decide how you're going to be positioned next year. And those of you in the inner circle, you saw the video I played with that gentleman making predictions, saying the same thing I've been saying for years, what may happen sooner rather than later in our financial markets. And it's going to be scary. It's never happened in our lifetime before. So we've got to be prepared for the best, for the worst, but expect the best. With that, I'm going to end by playing a song commemorating the partnership between ILCA and eEstates. And I will see you Inner Circle members tomorrow morning. And then we'll be back for Diamond class tomorrow night, followed by the eEstate presentation following that. And then we're off to the races. So with that, thank you guys for joining us. Miss Casa, was there anything that I missed that I need to share and cover?
No,
All
you
right.
did everything perfectly.
Got everything good. Thank you, Mr. Kenny Taylor, for sharing that information and your story with everybody. By the way, all of you guys that have shared your testimonials, even the women last month, I'm going to be cutting all of that out, and you'll have your own little promo video of you sharing your story. No, we're not doing Q&A tonight. No Q&A tonight. Tonight was just me giving an announcement. So we'll be back tomorrow morning where everybody, you guys, if you have any Q&A, you can ask tomorrow morning in Crypto Talk. So with that, take care, everybody. Brandon Ivey out. And here is, which one? I got so many. Yeah, go ahead, Kenny. Oh,
I'm
you had
good.
your
I was
hand
just
up.
saying
Oh,
good
you're
night.
just saying bye.
Yeah.
All right. Here's I think I'll do this one. Own the Wave. I don't remember which one this one is, but let's play this one. All right, see you guys tomorrow. Take care. And Marnita, George is asking you to send him the link. There you go. All right.
Oh, we rise globally.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we came from the bottom, had to flip that view, turn confusion to a blueprint, the whole world knew. ILCA taught the block how to break right through it. They got the keys to a system brand new. What? Tokenized land, that's a global flex. Fraction by fraction, watch what's next. Dark piano loop with a separate text. On your piece now, no need to stress. Yeah, cross-border funds in a second or less. Blockchain truth, take away that guess. Real estate change, let me say this blessed. When the chain get involved, opportunities endless.
We rise from the ground to the light, we thrive. Turn around, turn around, step by step, yeah, we claim our sight. This is the future, shining bright.
Yeah, on the way, ride the rhythm of a brand new day. Token by token, pave your way. LCA, show you how to play. On the way, ride the rhythm of a brand new day. Token by token, pave your way. LCA, show you how to play.
On the way.
Show you how to play it.
We ain't locked out, no doors remain. Blockchain clip, every move on chain. Rational freedom, no legal strain. On a piece without the weight of pain.
Wait, rising like the island tide. Global capital on a rocket ride. From BlackRock waves to the crypto side. Each day, keep it steady as a trusted guide. One more waiting for the right permission. No more standing in the shadows of old tradition. We building digital global bold on a ship tokenized, wealth retold.
This is more than money, this is destiny control.
On the way, ride the rhythm of a brand new day. Token by token, baby.